Right now it's 6, gone, but never forgotten.
The short time that Danielle had on this earth, she did not waste a single moment sharing her compassion.
As family and friends honor a Vancouver woman killed in a senseless and avoidable crash.
On track for disaster. The latest clash in Portland's homeless crisis pits campers against speeding freight trains.
Slow times, big fines. How Multnomah County has run out of patience with ambulances accused of taking too long to show up. Then later,
accessible in terms of public transportation, so it just was a win. We won't have pancakes here though.
From serving up breakfast to serving up hope, a shuttered pancake house finds new life, helping people struggling with addiction do the same. Thank you for joining us. I'm Laurel Porter.
And I'm David Molko. First at 6, another view of Portland's homeless crisis with tents popping up along railroad tracks. Now homeless campers are being told to leave immediately because of concerns over their safety, though some say they are not planning to go.
And here's Blair Best with why some campers say it's worth the risk.
Tracks run for miles through Portland's Central East Side, passing some of the city's best and worst qualities. In a divided section of the city, these trains are something everyone agrees on.
Because the horns, they are a burden on everyone who works here.
It hurts our ears.
It's become a daily annoyance for Eleni since she set up camp just feet from the tracks.
There are some trains that have a lot of cargo on them, and they're speeding so fast.
Despite the dangers, she feels safe here, secluded from others.
The guys are on one side, and I'm the girl on this side, and for that, we try to keep the track clean.
I respect the freight lines, I don't, do anything to disrupt them. They don't mess with me. And this is the only spot where we're kind of exempt from being messed with by rapid response.
That sense of security didn't last long. Just before noon on Wednesday, officers from the Union Pacific Railroad Company Police Department handed out these notices to people camping illegally on railroad property, requiring them to remove their camps.
Those camps don't tend to be very permanent. People come and go.
Union Pacific Railroad says camping anytime along the tracks is a hazard to the trains and a safety risk for the homeless people.
I mean, it's insulting, but it's pretty ridiculous.
Do I know that I am in a line where I could possibly get hurt? Yes. So I respect that line.
And Blair joins us now. Blair, what happens if they don't move?
So if they don't move their camps, they could face criminal trespassing charges. And I want to point out here that the railroad company is the one enforcing this, not the city of Portland.
All right, so where will they go? I mean, this isn't too far from the city's first sanctioned mass homeless camp, also in southeast Portland there. Is that an option for them?
Well, I mean, it could be, but in order to move into one of those sanctioned city-run sites, you need to have a referral. And we're going to be following up on that mass encampment sometime next week.
We'll look forward to that. Thank you, Blair, for that report. In other headlines, some people from Hawaii living in Oregon are fearing for their friends and family back home. As you may have just seen on NBC Nightly News, wildfires have killed 6 people on the island of Maui, and the historic town of Lahaina has been devastated. Some Native Hawaiians in Portland say they're hoping to hear from family to know they're okay.
A big concern, especially for my nephew, because there's no real communication and they don't know if the houses are still standing.
Both the Oregon State Fire Marshal and Portland Salvation Army Division are on standby to help in Hawaii if needed.
In Newport, one person is dead after a shooting on the Yaquina Bay Bridge. Police say a man was killed this afternoon just before 1 and that they have detained a suspect. This investigation shut down the bridge for about 2 hours. Police have not said what led up to the shooting, but add there is no danger to the community. Multnomah County says it plans to start fining the county's ambulance provider AMR over slow response times. You might remember a KGW investigation previously found crews were late to respond to 1 out of every 3 emergency calls. Now, AMR blames the county for requiring 2 paramedics per ambulance rather than an EMT, along with ongoing staffing issues. County officials have pushed back on potentially loosening that requirement. Chair Jessica Vega-Peterson says she is out of patience, and if ambulance performance does not improve, fines will begin next month.
A man police call a prolific car thief in the Portland area was sentenced today to 3 years in prison. 24-year-old Jesse Brower was involved in several thefts over the past few months. He pleaded guilty to 6 charges, including trafficking in stolen vehicles. This is the first major arrest and sentencing for Multnomah County's new auto theft task force. A wildfire in Lynn County has forced upgraded evacuation orders. The Wiley fire is burning east of Sweet Home. Evacuations were at level 1, be ready, but are now at level 2, be set. The fire is about 150 acres. Residents who need to evacuate, including those with livestock, can go to the Lynn County Fair and Expo Center.
And Laurel, speaking of wildfires, the wildfire danger will be high heading into the next couple of days. Today and tomorrow and really into Friday, it'll be pretty calm, but we saw temperatures in the low to the mid 80s for your daytime highs. Yeah, we didn't see much in terms of rainfall. A weak system moved on shore late last night, early this morning, brought basically trace amounts at the Portland International Airport. Highs today were about 84 degrees throughout much of the city. So again, the fire danger really increases heading into the weekend. I'm tracking some of the warmest weather we've seen so far this summer, basically starting Sunday and into much of next week. Temperatures on Saturday be right around 90. Well, we go from the low to the mid 90s heading into Sunday, and there's a slight chance we'll be looking at temperatures hitting triple digits for the first time this summer by the middle part of next week. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
Thank you, Joe. Tonight we're hearing from family and friends of the Vancouver woman killed in this tragic crash. She was just sitting in her home when a car crashed right into it. This happened at the corner of Unander and Fruit Valley, just west of downtown Vancouver.
Just unbelievable there. Let's bring in Mike Benner in the newsroom. Mike, you talked to the victim's family and city leaders about that intersection. What'd you learn?
Well, David, the city's transportation manager says since 2015, there's been one other crash there. A car went through the fence, but nobody killed or injured. That said, he tells me traffic engineers will evaluate the area for possible countermeasures. Nobody wants what happened to Danielle Abrams to happen to anybody else, and that includes Danielle's family.
I don't think there's a word that covers how we're all feeling.
Justine Baker is in utter shock that she'll never again talk to her older sister, Danielle Abrams.
I think we're all just trying to be strong and do the pieces that we can do.
That's all you can do after what happened at this home at the corner of Unander and Fruit Valley in Vancouver. This is where Danielle lived with her husband Billy and brother James. The trio were at home Thursday night when a car hit a curb, slammed through a fence and crashed into the house. The car hit Danielle, who was in the living room. Her brother rushed to her side.
He held her hand and he just kept telling him to tell her it was going to be okay and she was going to be fine. And she said, "I can't breathe," a handful of times, and then she stopped responding.
Danielle died, so too did her dog, seen here in this photo taken just minutes before the crash. Justine said her sister loved her dog and life as well.
She was a canner, an avid gardener. She had a heart.
And perhaps that explains Danielle's more than 10-year career at Reside Residential Care, a company focused on supporting people with intellectual and developmental disabilities.
The short time that Danielle had on this earth, she did not waste a single moment sharing her compassion, her generosity, her kindness.
Rich Nakanishi is a colleague and good friend of Danielle's. He says the entire staff at Reside Residential Care is reeling over her death.
We're just trying to make sense of it as well. You know, someone so good, how can something so bad happen to a person?
The short answer, bad choices. In this case, on the part of the driver accused of hitting Danielle. She is identified as Karen Baker, and police believe she was under the influence at the time of the crash.
I hope she gets the fullest punishment possible. I think she made a decision that night. She's in her 50s. She knew better.
And as Justine Baker points out, the driver's life goes on, while her sister's life does not. As for the family,
Our lives are frozen. How do you move past that?
You cannot help but feel for Danielle's family. A GoFundMe has been established to help with expenses. You can find a link on our website, kgw.com. In the meantime, the suspect driver, Karen Baker, no relation to the family, by the way, is in the hospital, but once she is discharged, she'll be booked into jail. David.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate your reporting there.